What are we doing? We're back here. We are back here. We did it. We did it. We did a thing. Built a race car. Raced it for a whole year. Welcome back. I thought I would do like a season wrap-up video. Obviously, I shot nothing. I did no content at all throughout the year because I was just busy trying to make this thing run and be as competitive as possible, and it did, and it was awesome, and it was I don't know, kind of incredible, right? We started with a totally unproven, unknown performance envelope, and we did so really well in it. I mean, the whole team, just everybody consistently performed, as good or better than we kind of had in the past. And I don't know, it was pretty great. I'll go through. We'll do the lowlights first. We'll do what did we learn. We had, for the most part, 4, 5, 6 kind of real drivers in the car. I got a couple other guys that are gonna drive it locally here for the last couple events, but really 6 drivers in the car. We had throughout the entire season. I think we're going to end with like 320, 340 competitive runs in the car. So definitely did not go easy on the frame this year. So like a lot of driving. So 340 runs in the car. We had 4 major issues, 4 big issues. The first one was at its very first event, big national event, the one Spring Nats. We were doing the Pro Solo, which usually happens, the first event. So we're at the Pro Solo, and we had to pull Dan out of stage because the starter had come loose, and it was rubbing up against the secondary. So this is the starter. You can see the teeth right there, kind of got into the secondary a little bit, and they got to know each other, and that was unfortunate. That stunk, and that was a me issue. That wasn't really a design issue per se. The bolts, the hardware that was holding it in came loose. So that stinks a lot. There was kind of a little bit of a design issue in that I have the center distance between the engine and the jack shaft set to a new dimension that I don't normally run, which is 10.5 inches. The old car was 11 inches. The 10.5 inches doesn't give you a whole lot of play. It's almost like it's a ½ inch shorter than the 11-inch old center. So there were some learning issues there. That's all been fixed. Was all fixed with new motor mounts and everything. So that was good. So that was the first one. The second one happened to Lori, unfortunately, while we were in Toledo for the Pro Solo. For those who don't know Toledo, it was super rainy the first day. We only got like 6 runs each. It was in the wet, water everywhere, running rain tires. Some of us, the smart ones, were running rain tires. It was rough. So Lori goes out and she does her wet runs, and she does great. She does absolutely awesome. And she has such a great spirit and attitude about it. Can't say enough about her. She's great. Second day, she goes out and she is scheduled to drive first, I believe. And she goes out in the car and she does, for those who aren't Pro Solo, it's like 2 mirrored courses that we call left side and right side. And you end up taking 2 runs on each one, so a total of 4 runs in a session. She does the left side. She does a right side, she does a left, she does a right. She's getting ready to launch on her left side for her last run. And the 4 links, which is part of the rear suspension member, just totally buckled on her. And the car, it happened right at launch. So right when she put all that torque down, went for max launch with max grip, the tires were all warmed up. It just folded those 4 links. Actually, I have the one that failed here, so I've cut it down, but that's the 4 link that failed. You can see it got a little chewed up there by the sprocket. So it's just an aluminum tube that's like swedged down on each end. It's supposed to be 3/4 inch diameter and a 125 wall, so 1/8 inch thick aluminum wall. When you mic out those walls right there on this tube, it's like 0.110. So we're missing 15 thousandths of thickness there. I still don't know if that would have been thick enough, but I also don't know, unless I took the rest of the tube out and cut it into sections, if there wasn't a manufacturing issue there. But anyway, the new ones are even bigger. So instead of the 1/3, we went to 7/8. Instead of a 1-2-5 wall, they're 3/16, so it's a 1/8/8 wall. So it's a lot more aluminum. It's like 50% more aluminum and a larger diameter, so it's a little bit more rigid. So that's what we fixed, and that's fixed that issue. So that was issue number 2. Issue number 3 happened at Nationals, and it was pretty spectacular, actually. Dan and I did all of our runs. Everything super uneventful. It was great for the Pro Solo. It was super awesome the Pro Solo because Andy friggin' killed it and won the Ladies Challenge, won L1, just dominated. It was awesome. So she did so good. It was so much fun. And then so Dan and I go out and we do our Nationals competition runs because we were running in FMod. And we did great. Dan did super awesome. Dan got 3rd. So this is basically this was the second fastest FMod at Nationals this year. Still chasing Jason Hobbs and Matt Murphy, but yeah, it's so close. So yeah, in its very first year, we were the second fastest car there in grid. So that feels really good. And then so we did good. And then Andy goes out and she was actually running an AMOD. So we slapped some wings on the car and added an extra 50 pounds and went out there and had fun in AMOD, and she was actually doing really good and she was running mid-pack. And then on day 2, her first run, she goes out and that course starts right, big sweeper left, there's a couple of offsets. When she went to go load up that front left wheel and then unload it, as soon as she unloaded it, you see the car kind of like tilt down and just starts, and like you can tell something's wrong. And then I see out of the corner of my eye the wheel just disappearing into the distance. And I was like, goodbye. So the wheel failed. The wheel hub failed. So the wheel hub, we use direct mount, so it's like the 2 aluminum wheel halves out directly to the hub. This is what an intact hub looks like. And then this is what she brought back to me. She brought back this thing. This is what was stuck on the car. Yeah, all the parts that held up the wheel on were still bolted to the wheel, but you can tell like they're all fractured and broken off. So we fixed that by putting on entirely new, you can kind of see it in the picture right there, entirely new wheel center. Those were made by, these ones that failed were from Hyper. These ones that are on the car are from Weld Racing. They're much more stout. There's a lot more material there. They're slightly heavier, but we're not going to be sending wheels off into the distance at 60 miles an hour, which I feel like is probably the right decision. So that was mistake number 3. We actually didn't really, it cost her the rest of that run, but we were able to get the new hub on the car and finish out all the girls' runs for AMOD. So we actually didn't really miss a run there, which was kind of cool, except for the half run that it failed on. And then lastly, just our very last event, I've been trying to help some friends figure out some different ignition pulses so they could figure out RPM readings. And in doing that, I must have jostled my wiring harness. And apparently, so I joked with my friends that I had purchased all of my stuff. I'm trying to not be cheap. Very reputable vendors that I'm using now. The wiring harness parts that I purchased from, again, a very reputable vendor, that vendor being eBay, apparently didn't do a very good job crimping on one of the wires inside this terminal housing that I bought. It was like a pre-made pigtail. So that terminal housing finally came loose at the last event that we just had a couple weekends ago. And so the car would not start. So after playing with it, we finally figured out that the car wouldn't start, it's not gonna run. So we just put it back on the trailer. I got it home, literally like the second thing I put my multimeter on to test for the electrical, it was failed, and then I figured out that wire had just come loose. So all I had to do was take that terminal out, pinch it, cram it back into the thing, and then make sure it wasn't gonna come loose again, and the car fired right back up. So that was, those are the 4 issues with the car this year. Other than that, everything else performed awesome. Making on-site roll center adjustments up front totally worked. Making on-site, axle width adjustments and rear axle roll center adjustments totally worked. Obviously, we fit 4, 5, 6, 7 vastly different size drivers pretty easily because the car is pretty configurable there, and Engine was super reliable, which is great. Yeah, just super happy with the car. Yeah, awesome. We were in such a big rush to get it all done, I never got paint on it. So this is still carbon fiber straight out of the mold. So I am going to have to sit here and just start picking off vinyl for like, who knows, next many weeks, so that I can get this thing back to work and undo all the Dizu connections. Man, this is gonna take forever. This vinyl is coming off in tiny pieces. Oh, wait. All right, Hoosier, thanks for your tires. But, you know, we gotta get to work. So yeah, so I'll have to get all this prepped and kind of sanded down, cleaned off, and then we have to do our top secret livery for next year. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I have some thoughts. There's some plans. And there are other pretty fun plans for next year that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet. Still working with some other people on that. But something really fun hopefully will be happening. So fingers crossed. Yeah. It was a great year. It was really awesome. So thanks for everybody for cheering me on. Appreciate it. And if you've stuck around this long, hopefully you'll stick around for more. And hopefully we shoot a lot more videos with a lot more FMods this year. All right, guys, I'll just get this. Bye-bye.